ॐ अज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे Shadhishtarine. Okay, so we are discussing this verse 526.6, and this is talking about Yamaraja, and of course heaven, hellish planets and all those that will come further in this chapter. But the point in this verse, anyway, at information level, Yamaraj is Vaivasvataha, the name of the sun god. Our sun god name is Vivasvan, and he has what's that? He has one son and one daughter, which is Yam and Yami. So Yamaraj is a son, and Yami is actually Yamuna Devi, which is one of the daughters of sun god. And also sun god also has one more son, which is Manu, which is Vaivast Manu. And Manu had many sons, we know from Srimad Bhagavatam. 𝗙𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏 and other sons are there. 10 sons, Manu had 10 sons, and one daughter, Ila, who then became somehow then that Ila became male, Sudyum, and then again that male became female and became a chaos, and then the king Sudyum had to remain male. For 1 month he became male and 1 month female, and became a mess. So anyway, these things happened, you know. So anyway, Yamaraj is we are talking about Yamaraj. Yamaraj is a son of sun god from his wife Sangya Devi. Sangya. Sun god's wife is Sangya. And sun god's another wife is Chaya, by the way, whose son is Shani Dev. We all know Shani Dev. So he is one of the son of sun god through Chaya, who was one of the duplicates of sun god's wife Sangya. So this is a family of sun god. But the eldest son is Yamaraj, and he was entrusted to become the lord of hell, hellish planets. One of his name is Vaivasvataha, who is the son of Vivasvan. That's Vaivasvata. So he is Pitraraj. He is the king of Pitas. He rules the planet of Pitri. So Yamaraj's office is in hellish planets, but his home is in Pitrilok. He lives somewhere else. That's what. His home is in Pitrilok, where all Pitris are there. And in Pitrilok, his form is very beautiful. His form is, he's white complexion with white robes, very pleasing to eyes. And he discusses with all the Pitris. He discusses Hari Katha Vidya in Pitrilok. But in hellish planets, his form is very ferocious, with I think 5 or 8 heads. I think Garuda Puran explains, with blackish eyes, red eyes, and blackish, completely black, pitch black, with black clothes, very fearful. And these sinful souls, when they see Yamaraj in that form, they already lose their heart. And even the sight of Yamaraj in hellish planets, that itself is one of the punishment. So what does Yamaraj do? Yamaraj, he has his own messengers, 𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗏, and what he does, his messengers are called Yamdut. We encounter Yamdut in 6th canto, Ajamil Katha. All the Yamduts, they are also very ferocious. About these Yamduts, by the way, Garuda Puran explains that these, even Bhagavatam says, Yamdut have no feelings. They have absolutely no feelings, no heart. And that's why they are able to torture human souls almost till eternity, like for millions and millions and millions of years, without any rest. And I mean to say, nobody can torture anybody for eternity, but they can, because they don't have any feelings. And the more you ask them forgiveness, the more they will beat you. That's what Yamduts are there. They are feelingless robots who only know how to torture. That's what they do. But these Yamduts are personal servants of Yamaraj, and their duties like that. And what they do is yatha karma vadyam dosham. What they do, they judge. Yamaraji judges according to their sinful or pious activities. In hellish planets, there are two gates. One is northern and one is southern. So sinful souls enter hellish planets through southern gate, and pious souls they enter through northern gate. So there are different waiting rooms for pious souls and sinful souls. For sinful soul, the waiting room is like if you go in this station, Indian railway station, so there is a general waiting class, it's like mess. This full of smell of toilet, that's all. So that's what is southern gate all about. There is pus, stool, hair, everything. But for northern gate, the waiting room is like first class set compartment waiting room, air conditioned waiting room, and they are like okay. And then so from northern gate, then they are sent to heavenly planets. From southern gate, and then they are into hellish planets. This is the description which will come further. This is what Yamaraj is doing. Now, one thing here is the duty of Yamaraj is very difficult. Of all demigods, Indra, Varun, Chandra, Agni, the duty of Yamaraj is very, very difficult, because Yamaraj has to punish souls. Yamaraj is one of our Mahajan, by the way, you have to remember. 12 Mahajanas. 𝗙𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗃 what's that? 𝗪𝗏 Narada Shambhu, Kumara Kapilo Manu, 𝗙𝗲𝗃𝗃 There are 12 teachers of 12 authorities of devotion, out of which Yamaraj is one. Because he is Mahajan, his heart is very compassionate. And he is a saint of highest caliber, but at the same time his duty is to torture people, and that's the most difficult part. You look at Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj is, even Arjuna and Yudhishthira and all the Pandavas, they are pure devotees, and you see their heart was full of compassion, and they were, in spite of so much torment by Duryodhan and so many plots against them, even to kill them, they were ready to forgive them. And forgiveness is one of the greatest quality of a saint. We have to remember that. Any saint who does not know how to forgive, he is not a saint. He might have all good qualities, but if he doesn't have this quality of forgiveness, he is not a saint. What about Yamaraj? He will never forgive. That's what he is. So he has to be a pure devotee, and he is having complete forgiveness and humility in his heart, but he has to suppress that. Why? Because his service doesn't demand compassion. And that's a very important point when we look at Yamaraj. When we look at this verse, he properly judges them according to their specific sinful activities and sends them to one of the hellish planets suitable for punishment. Yudhishthira Maharaj, his only prayer after the Mahabharata war was that nobody should go to hell. Yudhishthira Maharaj, he was taken to hell for one day because he spoke a lie on the battlefield, of course on the orders of Krishna. And that's written in Mahabharata, but that's an external reason. Internal reason is on the pretext of speaking a lie, the demigods took him to hell so that people in hellish planets, they can be delivered from his mere presence. That was the idea. Yudhishthira Maharaj didn't get a sin of speaking a lie because he spoke a lie on the order of Krishna. But Yudhishthira Maharaj got a sin of not following the orders of Krishna in the first instant. That was his mistake. Krishna told him, speak, 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗲 is dead. But Yudhishthira said, I can't speak a lie. I'm 𝗪𝗪𝗪. 𝗪𝗪𝗪, he is son of Yamaraja. 𝗪𝗪𝗪. I can't speak a lie. And Krishna said, I'm telling you to speak. And he spoke. So people think that Yudhishthira Maharaj got a sin of speaking a lie. No. Even if you speak a lie on the orders of God, that's not a lie, that's truth. That's absolute truth. That doesn't give you sin. If you speak truth, not according to orders of Krishna, that's complete sin. So, but Yudhishthira Maharaj got a sin because he denied Krishna. He said, I am truthful. Srila Prabhupada says the basic principle of religion is truthfulness. And here Yudhishthira Maharaj, he is 𝗪𝗪𝗪, he is the son of Yamaraja. So his whole existence is truthfulness. And here Krishna says to Yudhishthira, speak a lie. Krishna is challenging his existence. His existence, truthfulness. Just like the existence of a materialistic person is lust and sex and money. If you take this money and sex from his life, he's dead. What he'll do? If you take truthfulness from life of Yudhishthira, he's dead. And Krishna says, you will speak a lie. Yudhishthira said, you know, Krishna, you know what? Why you're asking me? You know, if I speak a lie, I'll die. Why don't you ask Bhima and anybody else? Krishna said, no, only you have to speak. Krishna was giving a message to entire humanity that to serve Krishna, you have to sacrifice your existence. Your basic beliefs you might have to sacrifice to serve Krishna. So, but he denied in first instance. So that's why he went to hell. And in the hell when he went, all the sinful people in the hell, they got a relief merely by presence of Yudhishthira Maharaj. And then Indra came here. So Indra came. He said, "Okay, one day is over. Just come to heaven." Yudhishthira Maharaj said, "No, I don't want to go. Because of my presence, sinful souls are feeling comfort, and I don't want to go from here. I will remain with them so that they get comfort." That is Yudhishthira. That is the son of Yamaraj. If the son of Yamaraj is like that, you can imagine how Yamaraj would be. So Yudhishthira, he is completely full of compassion, and he wants to relieve souls from hellish planets. But his father wants to send people to hellish planets. It's a complete contradiction. And both are pure devotees. So why they are doing just the opposite thing? Because the service demands like that. Yudhishthira Maharaj's service was not to send people to hell, to judge them for their sinful activities. But Yamaraj's duty is to send people and judge people and send them to hell or heaven, whatever. So that's the point here. For serving Krishna, we might have to give up our attachment to our own qualities also. That's required. We might have to give attachment to compassion. We might have to be detached from compassion if the service demands. We might have to be detached from our own truthfulness if the service demands. The point is, we have to become detached to everything else except Krishna. And that is pure devotion. And that's why Yamaraj is a pure devotee. Merely by knowing his service, you can tell he is a pure devotee. Because no one can do this kind of service, what Yamaraj is doing. No one. That's why his position is very special. Yamaraj's position is very special. And in fact, you see, nobody worships Yamaraj, isn't it? Nobody does that. There is no mantra Om Yamaya Namah. There is Om Suryaya Namah, Om Ganeshaya Namah, Om Durgaya Namah, whatever, Om Vishnavaya Namah. But there is no Om Yamaya Namah. There is nothing like that. Nobody worships him. Why? Because although he is a pure devotee, we should be worshipping, but nobody worships him because his service is very unique, his job is very unique, and his service demands that he should be cruel. I mean to say, he should be not exactly cruel, but he should not be compassionate, and he should be absolutely judgmental. There is no mercy there. That is why there is no worship of Yamaraj, because worship means mercy, isn't it? When you worship somebody, you demand mercy. You please have mercy on me. Otherwise, if there is no relationship of mercy and love with your deity whom you worship, then what's that worship all about? Then you will not worship that person. But here you can't ask Yamaraj, give me mercy. Yamaraj says, that's not my job. My job is to judge. Where there is judgment, there is no mercy. And where there is mercy, there is no judgment. Mercy means that by definition, mercy means you don't judge. By definition, mercy means you don't see the faults or even the credits, but you simply help that person. You overlook the faults and credits and plus and minus points, and you simply help. That is mercy. That means you close your eyes and help. But judgment is you open your eyes, you never close them. And you see everything, the credits, plus, minus, and then you judge and give a proper judgment. So Yamaraj is very expert in judging. In fact, Yamaraj is actually omniscient by the mercy of Krishna, because he has to know what's happening in the heart of that person to judge properly. That person might have done some murder, and then after death he is there in front of Yamaraj. Yamaraj has to know within his heart what were intentions when he was murdering, what was his feeling when he was doing the murder, and then he has to give proper judgment. Otherwise his judgment will be mistaken, and then he is no longer Dharmaraj or Yamaraj. So he is practically omniscient. He is a very powerful person, and that is why in this purport it is said 𝗪𝗂𝗪𝗏 he is the epithet Bhagwan is given to him. He is practically God. He is omniscient. He is very powerful being. So in fact, all the demons, when they defeat Yamaraj, they think they have achieved something. That's how powerful he is. Because he is having the rod of death. Defeating Yamaraj means you have conquered death. So that is one point we can take away from this whole purport, where Prabhupada says they are judged and punished by Yamaraj. So one point which I just wanted to impress upon you is don't be attached to anything else except service to God. Don't be attached to even your own good qualities. If it demands for service of God, if it demands you to become cruel, become cruel. Arjuna became cruel. He had to kill people. For killing, you have to become very cruel, a hard-hearted person. You can't kill people. You can't kill millions and millions of people with a soft heart. That's not possible. And that's what was happening in Gita. Arjuna told, see, I can't kill them, I am soft-hearted, and this. Krishna says, you're not soft-hearted, you are impotent. You're nonsense. This is my order, this is my service. You are attached to your own stupid goodness. So don't be attached. So Yamaraj is that, we can take inspiration from Yamaraj. And I mean to say, it might be very difficult for him to do this service. To see souls being tortured, which pure devotee can see? Prahlad Maharaj, he was seeing other criminals or other rishis being tortured, or other people being tortured in the torture chamber of Hiranyakashipu, whatever it was. And Prahlad was very, very distressed. Paradukha-dukhi. That's a saint. A saint is a person who becomes unhappy by seeing the unhappiness of others. He becomes distressed by seeing distress of others. That's a saint. But Yamaraj has to forget all those things. He has to purposefully make his heart hard to serve Krishna. That's quite interesting, because we know that bhakti makes the heart soft. That is, by the way, bhakti. Bhave vasandranatma. What's that? Samyak marchitana hridaya. Samyak marchana swanto. Mamta atishayankita. Bhave vasandranatma. Buddhe prema nigadyate. Definition of love is it makes the heart soft. So, when we advance in devotion, our heart becomes soft, but we have to be careful. It will become soft, but if service demands, you have to make it hard. So that's the idea there. The idea is our focus is on service of Lord. Our focus for service of Lord, whatever is favorable, we keep. Whatever is unfavorable, we leave them. We leave it. Even if, to the extent, if the ecstasy we feel in devotion, if we feel that is hindrance to service, we will happily leave it. The happiness we feel in devotion, if it becomes hindrance in devotion, we should be ready to leave it. That's the ideal standard of devotion. If your happiness and bliss in devotion is becoming hindrance, a pure devotee will pray to Krishna, Krishna, please take all my happiness and bliss in devotion. It's becoming hindrance. I am becoming lazy in my bliss and happiness of devotion. My service is going down. That's the ideal standard of devotion. That's what Yamaraja is teaching just by his service of punishing souls. So people see Yamaraja as a cruel deity, but no. He is a very powerful deity, a pure devotee, and that's why he is Mahajan. He is doing a job which no ordinary devotee can do. Mahajan, he is one of the authority. Bali Maharaj, he did something which no ordinary devotee can do. Rejected his spiritual master, he gave up his kingdom. Bhishma did something which nobody could have done. He actually opposed Krishna for his service. He was shooting arrows on Krishna. And that's why they are great authorities. We are not authorities, we are simply chanting 16 rounds, that too like in stupid way. So how can, but they are, you see why they are authorities, because they are doing something which is extraordinary and which pleases Krishna. So that's one point. Another point here is that Yamaraj, he punishes these souls and judges them to reform them. That's the idea which Prabhupada brings the point. He must reform their tendencies. So people, the sinful souls who do not listen to saints, do not listen to scriptures, who are atheist or demoniac, for them, then you have to punish. There's no other alternative. In Hindi we say, "Laaton ke bhoot baaton se nahi mante." That's the idea. So that's what Yamaraj has to do. Yamaraj's duty is like a slap from the mother. So who else can love the child more than mother in this entire universe? But nevertheless, she sometimes beats a child, and very badly sometimes, very badly. But that's what she has to do if the child doesn't listen, if she thinks. Yashoda Ma, she tied Krishna. What about that? Krishna is all attractive, and anybody who sees Krishna, they simply forget all anger, all enviousness, everything. But here Yashoda Ma, she wants to beat him and wants to tie him, and she did that, by the way. Why? Because she was really concerned about Krishna. He was becoming cranky and very naughty, and she had to do something. And she did that as a mother. So didn't she love him? Well, there was nobody else who could have loved Krishna more than Yashoda. So it's not that when Yamaraj is punishing, so that means he doesn't have love for souls in his heart. It's not like that. Or it's not like that he doesn't have compassion for the souls. The idea is his compassion is expressing in the form of punishment. That's another point to be considered and learned here. It's not necessary that your compassion will be expressed in form of solace or some help, it can be expressed in the form of punishment. And that is why they say punishment, love and punishment of God are both sweet. Srishti madhuram, yashti madhuram. It's said, Vallabhacharya says. Why? Because both are, the source of both is compassion. Yamaraj's duty is to reform them. So there is no other way. So he has to slap them, he has to punish them, he has to torture them. Sometimes, I mean to say, but if you read hellish explanations ahead, it will come. The torture is too much, actually. The torture is too much. Like you can't even believe that somebody can be punished like that. Like, I mean to say, to give that kind of punishment, you have to be a real demon or something like that. The people, the sinful souls in hellish planets, hot iron is poured in their mouth, or sometimes their whole they have to embrace a tree which is full of hot nails, and then they're pushed into it, and all the nails are there in this body. Or they're thrown into a river full of pus, stool, semen, blood, and there are sharks and insects in that river, and they eat your eyes and nose and everything, and still you don't die. It's a very, very bad torture. So sometimes it seems that, you see, there are hellish explanations in Bible also, Judaism, Old Testament, and that's why people, when they read these hellish kind of hellish explanations, they say God is cruel-hearted. Yamaraj is representative of God, and they say God is cruel-hearted. But no, neither God is cruel-hearted, neither Yamaraj is cruel-hearted. They have compassion for the soul, but there is no other alternative except this. So that's the point there. We should not think that when we pray to Krishna, Krishna have mercy on us, then he will give bliss to us, or will solace us and do everything right. No, his mercy can also fall upon you as punishment. We have to be ready for that. You should be ready for that. I prayed to Krishna, but see, now I'm suffering. Well, that your prayer is answered, that you're suffering now. That's what you prayed for. You prayed, Krishna, make me pure. And Krishna, in his wisdom, he thought, well, there are two ways to make him pure. One is to send him devotees and give him knowledge, but that has failed. He is not reforming. He doesn't hear to devotees, and he is foolish. He doesn't understand anything. He is so impure. So the other alternative is punishment. And he's praying to me, make me pure. So I can't keep silent. So okay, let me give him sufferings. But then when he'll suffer, then he'll think, oh, God didn't hear my prayer. I asked him for purification, but I'm suffering. What's happening? This is injustice. But no, actually, what you prayed, you got that. But the point is, you didn't realize that your prayers are not answered by God in the way you want them to be answered. He answers them in the way he wants your prayers to be answered. That's the idea. So in his wisdom, he wants to make you suffer. So pure devotee becomes very happy when they suffer, because they know that God is answering their prayers. If there's no suffering in your life, if there's nothing in your life, I mean to say no suffering, you're chanting and you're doing everything. Of course, I mean to say, when you chant, you will feel some bliss and happiness. That's the nature of holy name. God doesn't have to interfere in that. If you put your hand in fire, your fire burns. If you chant holy name, if you do some devotional activities, you will feel bliss and you will feel happy. But so that is some side effect. So if your life is going and there is no great suffering or no great happening in your life, then that means Krishna is neglecting you. And neglect is the worst punishment. When somebody loves you, either they kiss you, they hug you, or they slap you. If you don't meet the expectations, they become angry. But if somebody doesn't love you, they neglect you. You do whatever you want, okay. They'll talk with you nicely and that's it. You go to your home, I go to my home. So that's the point. That's why devotees know if they're suffering, this means God loves them. This means any time a pure devotee suffers, that is absolute surety that God is planning that soul should come to him as early as possible. That's a special compassion of God, because you see the point. We are all like, what do I say? We are like, पता नहीं हिंदी में कहते हैं कुत्ते की पूंछ, वो क्या कहें बताओ. In English, what do we say? Yeah, we are like adamant, obstinate. At least I am like that. I don't know about you all. You might be good devotees, but we are all like that. We are like super conditioned. We are like that. The moment we think we are not super conditioned, we will fall down. We'll just fall down. Actually, we have fallen the moment we think like that. No pure devotee will think that they are liberated. In fact, liberated souls do not think that they are liberated. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Gopinath Vishay Durjana Sada Kamarata. So what about us? We are really conditioned. So for us, there's just one alternative. I don't think so any Bhagavatam class will help us completely. I'm telling you, we are giving Bhagavatam class in the morning. Bhakti Sangha, every day we have Bhagavatam class. That's very nice. We should have something we should have, otherwise mind is empty. But I don't think so this will completely purify us, because we are all like stupid, useless people. We need some kind of reprimand or some kind of punishment. Otherwise, we will not become okay. Or we might become okay after many lifetimes. If we want to catalyze this process, this chemical reaction of devotion, then we have to put some catalyst here. And that happens with children. The mother says, read, and he's not reading. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, he's going playing video games, going to park, and this. Mother says, you have to read, exam is coming, read, doesn't read. Then after 5 days, the mother just thadak, just one slap, and the boy is stunned. And no questions, he just goes in his room, opens books and reads. That's all. Finished, everything finished. Nothing required. No counseling, nothing. He's simply sitting and reading. That's what we have. I don't know, as far as I see myself, it's a hopeless case, and we need some kind of good treatment. So that's the point I just wanted to bring, that anytime Yamaraja is giving sufferings to the sinful souls might be thinking, who are in hell, that Yamaraja is so bad, and they might be really abusing Yamaraja. I mean to say, what they will do if they are tortured. They might be abusing Yamaraja. He's a rascal, he's a nonsense, and he is like torturing us. He might be saying very bad abuses for Yamaraja. Definitely. They have no idea that Yamaraja is pure devotee or what. So they might be saying, but they don't realize that Yamaraja is helping them. This is the second point. And the third point connected with this is, as soon as those sinful souls realize that this punishment is actually a reformatory process and a compassion, immediately their punishment stops. Immediate. And that's the idea there. Anytime you suffer in your life, anytime something happens in your life, you have to realize that there's a purpose behind it. So Yamaraja is giving sufferings to sinful souls. There's a purpose. Purpose is reformation. And as soon as sinful souls realize this punishment is given to me for reforming me, for my bad habits or whatever, immediately that punishment stops and is giving a next chance. Because now he understands that I have to reform. An idea comes in his mind. The purpose of punishment is fulfilled. the purpose of punishment was to make him realize you have to improve yourself. So anytime any kind of suffering comes in our life, if we understand the purpose and if we reform, it might take some time to reform ourselves. It's not easy. But if you realize the purpose and if you try, those sufferings will stop. That's the idea. But if you keep on complaining, then nothing happens. Then the punishment continues. The mother slaps the child and the child keeps on playing, another slap. Still playing, another slap. Still playing, then she'll call the father and he will beat him. Still playing, then then he'll be locked up in the room and no food. Something, punishment increases. If you complain, punishment will increase. Oh, I am suffering because of this person, because of this person, because of this person. Why this? Why this? More suffering, more. It will keep on increasing, never end. But as soon as you realize, oh, this suffering is because of my own deeds, and I have to improve myself, it stops. And that is the rule of these hellish planets. Sinful souls who actually realize this fact that this is a reformatory cell, hellish planets, then everything stops for them and they are liberated from that hellish planets. So these are few points we have to understand from this verse. And very interesting points. Anyway, I think I'm done here. Anybody wants to ask anything?